Hello, everybody, and welcome to State of the Realm, Final Fantasy XIV podcast here to talk about patch 2.5 and answer some questions with the chat. We're going to try to keep this one spoiler-free for anyone worrying about that, but still, we have a feeling it's going to be quite a fun conversation. But I'm your host, Michael Mr. Happy Poveromo, and joining me is my co-host, Samuel Slyh, a.k.a. Slythefox, a.k.a. Slyh, a.k.a. Greyfox, a.k.a. You my boy, Blue.
You my boy, Blue. What's going on, Happy?
Everything's going great after today, Slyh. Today was a very, 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 very good day that we're going to talk about as spoiler-free as possible, of course. But,
of course.
I mean, come on. Like, we got to talk about patch 2.55. It's just been... I really am speechless. Like, I am finding...
Finished it.
I can't... just words. They won't...
Words.
I just can't describe
Answers?
it. For anyone who hasn't finished it yet, Slyh, this includes you.
Yes, it does.
Watch everything.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not rushing through cutscenes. The chat tried to convince me to, like, hey, tell Happy to push X, stay in the realm an hour so he can rush through cutscenes. No, that's not happening. I'm not rushing through anything.
I want to point out, push it back an hour for cutscenes.
Yeah, and...
An hour. We're not kidding. It's really that epic. So that's the first thing we really got to talk about. Now, patch 2.55, it wasn't a huge patch. So even though we're going to be relatively spoiler-free, the story is really the highlight of this episode of State of the Realm, because I don't think I've played a game that put the feels on me that hard.
I did.
Pretty long time. Type 0, right?
Yep.
Type 0. Type 0 puts the feels on right in the first 5 minutes, all right? So far, we're going to try to kind of transition through the topics using the trailer for patch 2.5, because that's as spoiler-free as we can really get. Mm-hmm. And the biggest thing we really have to talk about here is Ishgard.
Yes.
Now, we're going there in 3.0, and for everyone who didn't know, it's required you actually finish this set of quests, particularly in 2.55, in order to even enter Ishgard. Slyh, how close are you to being ready to enter Ishgard? Like, how close are you?
According to the patch notes, really fucking close.
Damn, that's how excited he is. The language, Slyh, the language.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. So, the first bunch of quests really are dedicated to Ishgard. It's been set up for quite some time now in the previous patch story, so this isn't spoilers for 2.55, that there's an attack being planned on Ishgard. And as you can see in the trailer, we very evidently have to deal with it, and with that came the Steps of Faith.
I had no faith.
No faith. No faith at all.
For a while.
Slyh, how long did this fight take you to do?
A couple hours.
Just a couple?
Yes.
2?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Couple hours?
Couple of hours. I'm not making a joke. I can't.
You're not making the joke. Guys, there was a joke that happened before the stream started. If you want to hear that joke, you'll have to come watch the pre-show before we actually record this, and this goes on YouTube. Slyh, I'm almost tempted because we talked about the joke for so long before the show started.
Do it.
All right, before the joke, because I should probably set it up for you, if anything.
Do it.
So
they already know the name of it. They already know the name of the dragon. We already talked about this last week. So yeah, everybody knows the name of it.
Well, last week we kind of didn't just guess, or was it the website was live. Yeah, we talked about the dragon. Vishap is the main boss of the Steps of Faith. And it's an 8-person trial that you can do in the Duty Finder, and it will appear in your roulette if you decide to do your roulette after today, unfortunately. Slyh, do not look pleased, because you're like, I'm never doing my trial roulette ever again. But yeah, the boss's name, Vishap or Vishap, however you want to pronounce it. It's a pretty interesting fight. It's probably the most interesting trial fight they've done so far.
Yeah, I agree. Kind of reminiscent of Stone Visual Hard, but longer.
It's also the theme of the fight. It's not what we're kind of used to at this point, the classic formula for Realm Reborn. Why don't you talk about it a little bit, Slyh?
Well, to me, like, I kind of got the sense that, like, it kind of felt like an RTS, but it wasn't an RTS. This is just a regular fight. You have to, everybody has a certain role in this fight. And if you deviate from that role, you're not going to be successful in this fight at all. It's carried over in phases in terms of, do we want to kind of talk about the...
Well, I mean, you can see it. They talk about it on the website. This isn't even really a spoiler. This is
okay.
They share this on the websites and the preview in the patch notes and everything. So yeah, we can talk about that. It's not your standard, there's the boss, we're going to fight him on a circle, we kill the ads, we avoid the mechanics, we win the fight.
Well, you could do that. If you had Dreadworm like your group did, yeah, sure, you could probably do that.
All right, listen, I'm talking about the duty finder here, Sly. I'm not talking about 8 people going in with full Dreadworm weapons and killing him in like a minute and a half.
That's in DF. That's 1 in a million. So please don't expect that.
That's never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen.
So the whole point of the fight is there's a big dragon. His name is Vishap, and he just tries to walk towards the end of the arena. If he gets to the other end, you lose.
So you don't even you can die multiple times and get back up and get right back in it. The real loss, I guess, is when he gets to the end. And there's even a cutscene that lets you know that you can't skip. That lets you know you failed. You cannot skip it. They want you to know that you failed.
Yeah, and that you're going to have to start it all over. And that's the worst thing. I mean, it's great that you can actually die and not have to sit there and wait for a raise. You could just return, hit the shortcut, get back into the fight. You're losing damage that whole time, and you may lose some time getting back to the boss. But the fact that if your group, like, let's say, does horrible in the first minute, you have to wait the entire, like, I guess, 5 minutes of the encounter to try again. Because at that point, you already know you've lost because the rest isn't going to go that well. But it's really cool the way it works. The arena's sectioned off into 4 sections, and they change progressively. Each section is a little bit different than the one before. And then if he reaches the final one and destroys it, you lose the fight. It's a nice little twist. You know, as frustrating as it can be in the Duty Finder, it's a nice little twist to Trials. Because, I mean, we've seen it, and it's been done a million times before. Tank the boss, do the mechanics, kill the ads.
So do you think there are going to be more Trials like this in 3.0?
I think there are. I think they're really leaning towards we can't just tank and spank these big drag. Like, I want to point out, Vishap, we talked about the 7 children of Midgardsormr. Vishap is not one of the 7 children. I don't think that's a spoiler to say he is not one of the 7 children that was mentioned last week. He is the underling of one of the 7. And the way we had to fight him was nothing like the way we've been fighting other bosses before. So I think it's fair to expect that we can expect very different fights in Heavensward. We're still absolutely going to have tank it, kill the ads. We're going to have that. That's going to be there in abundance. Right. But I would expect more gimmicky fights like this.
I wouldn't call it gimmicky, though. I mean, it's a good deviation from the norm.
Every fight is gimmicky. Like, a mechanic can be considered a gimmick. Like, any mechanic can be considered a gimmick. But in MMOs, gimmicks are mostly like, oh, it's not tank and spank. It's you have to do something out of the ordinary. And
kind of like the Typhon fight, the Ultras and Titan fight. You don't really, well, you can die, but if everybody rings out, that's it. Like, kind of like that. Kind of a deviation from the norm where you die, you wipe, reset, start again. Whereas this one, you die, get back up, keep going until he hits the end. Deviations like that. I like that.
It's funny when you die, though, and you realize, all right, we're wiping, just don't even try, and everyone stays at the entrance, but that one dragon just runs from the other end all the way
back. And I found that so hilarious. Like, he's really coming. He's really still coming. Really still coming.
Like a linebacker.
Yeah.
Just charging with the... I don't watch football. Is the linebacker on offense or defense? I'm not kidding. Sly, stop looking at me like that.
A linebacker is on defense.
Okay, there we go. Well, I mean, we're the linebackers. So he's the all right, I'm gonna stop trying to make.
He's the running back.
He's the running back. That I knew. See, the word back I remembered. I was half there. I was almost there.
We're not even gonna bring this up anymore.
Nope. Embarrassment is done and past.
Move forward.
Move forward. So the big thing about this fight that I've noticed a lot of people in the Duty Finder have trouble with is the fact it's not a tank and spank fight. So everybody here, unless you went with friends, probably has nightmare stories about this already. Sly, you want to tell us a nightmare story?
It's not really a nightmare story. It's
Sly, it took you 2 hours to beat it. Give me a nightmare story.
It's not. I mean, it's a new fight. Like, everybody's probably, like, you're going to get in, and for today, you're going to have a bunch of people say, first time doing this. Fine. It's a new fight. It's not really a nightmare story because people are still learning this. I haven't gotten to the point. When you texted me, I just cleared it. I might do it again later just for shits and gigs. Just to see if I can clear it again. I mean, I know I can clear it again now. I know the mechanics. But there's not really nightmare stories. I wouldn't, like, today is nightmare-free day. Everybody gets a pass. This is the only day you get a pass. Anytime after this, we know it. You don't get a pass, it now becomes a nightmare story.
Yeah, but I mean, with the Duty Finder, these fights are kind of expected. You'll go in, it's expected you'll wipe a few times with these kind of fights. It was the same with the Chrysalis. Yeah. But some people do not get as lucky as to have a group where we went in, we were new to it, we saw what we needed to do, we learned, we triumphed.
Right.
A lot of people are not having as much luck here as they did the Chrysalis, where there was kind of just one thing that they didn't need to do.
Again, a tank and spank.
If you had one piece of advice, what would it be for this fight?
Discuss everything. Like, get your roles beforehand before, like, tank pulls. Discuss your roles, know who's doing what before tank pulls. If everybody has defined roles, it makes the fight go along so smoothly. Whereas if everybody doesn't know and we're just doing this randomly, like, hell, half the times I would go up the tower, somebody else was already up there. I didn't even know they were going to the tower because we didn't have a defined tower person. So I would go up the tower, that could be DPS I was doing on this app, but I wasn't because I was rushing to the tower that was already occupied.
So for those who are wondering what he's talking about, this is probably the single biggest mechanic that Duty Finder groups miss. On the sides of the arena, after the first ward dies, there's a tower. First, it's if you're looking at the end of the arena, like you're facing the same direction as Vishap. It's first one's on the right, second one's on the left, third one's on the right. These towers have a weapon called a Dragon Killer at the top. If you hit the boss with it, it does 70,000 damage. 7% of the boss's HP.
But there's a twist for the other two gates.
Yes. The first one, you can shoot it at the boss, and as long as he's in the AoE, you're fine. The second two, it's a little bit different. Sly, you got this one.
Okay, for the second two, there are orange mini towers between the two sets of cannons, and they're called snares. What they're there for are to snare Vishap down. If you don't snare Vishap down, when you fire the Dragon Killer, he's going to fly, and it's going to miss. It's going to be a waste. So make sure that the snares are set up before you even fire off the Dragon Killer.
Cannon people can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's interesting, though? The way he dodges the Dragon Killer is BS. He flies directly up to avoid a Dragon Killer thing that's coming directly down, and he's like, nope. I don't... It
that is kind of BS, though. I'll admit that.
Yeah, he's just like, I'll just go... That's no problem. As long as I'm not on the ground, it can't hurt me, right?
Right.
Right. Now, this ultimately is the final fight of 2.55. This is the big finale to the story.
And it's the only one.
But it's not even close to the end of the story. Because after you finish that mission, you have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I believe, missions to do. And there's tons of story and craziness. You're not going to believe what happens. Everyone watching this, if you haven't seen it yet, you will literally not believe it. Slyh, do you know guess how long a cutscene it is? I know we said an hour, like an hour thing at the start of the show, but guess how long it actually is.
I'd say along the lines of maybe a movie, 9 minutes.
It's so long that before you start watching the cutscenes, you get this notification twice on 2 different occasions. It warns you that there's going to be a series of cutscenes playing. You need to set aside time to watch them all. They actually warn you before you continue to make time. Because if you don't have it, don't start it. They want you to watch it and pay attention. Grab
your beer, grab your food, everything before you get it done. Make sure you go to the bathroom. This is going to be a ride.
You know how on like Twitch or YouTube people like, oh, just get the popcorn, can't wait for this. literally get popcorn.
Get the popcorn. Get food. Get whatnot. You're going to be here for a while.
Yeah, and trust me, Sly, you haven't seen it yet, and I won't tell you what happens. You are not going to expect a single... Like, you thought you knew. And there are some things that I've guessed that may or may not actually happen.
Mm-hmm.
Things that I've guessed in previous episodes of the show. Things that I've been guessing for months now. You do not know what is going to happen at all. You have to watch it. Voices on. Pay attention to every character, every action that happens. It is unbelievable. Nothing even comes close in the rest of the Realm Reborn story. The end of 1.0 with end of an era almost does not compare to what happens here.
That's kind of serious.
Just because it hits you in the feels so hard.
That's kind of serious.
It's very serious.
I mean, we're talking about, okay, you're talking about 1.0 where Bahamut just comes in and just restructures the game. Like, he doesn't restructure, like, just Aorta. He restructures the game. And now you're saying it's bigger than that?
It's honestly, okay, so it's bigger in a sense of its impact on you, the player. Whereas that was an impact on the entire world. If that makes sense. Because nothing compares to completely destroying the world and then coming back from it. Nothing compares.
Right.
But you've never experienced something like this. Type 0 might have gotten you prepared for this, but still, you're going to be in shock when you see these characters perform this action.
That's a big hurdle to leap. I'm just saying because the Type 0, that's a big hurdle to leap.
I'm telling you, trust me, man. Don't even worry about it. Okay. Oh, and just as a reminder, everyone, you do need that final mission with those cutscenes done in order to enter Ishgard in the expansion. So if you're somebody who's not subbed,
if you buy Heaven's Ward before doing this, like, you have to do this. You have to do this before you even, I mean, open up the box and everything, that's fine, but you're not going to be able to.
You know what's concerning?
What?
You know how a lot of people say skip the cutscene? Like, when you're trying to get through the story and get caught up?
Mm-hmm. People aren't saying that.
People aren't saying that. It needs to be stressed. I know people are going to be anxious to enter Ishgard after the expansion if they're catching up late. Stop. Take an hour of your time. Mm-hmm. The expansion's not going anywhere. Watch the damn cutscene. All right? Do it.
That's a Mr. Happy stamp on that one. Watch the damn cutscene.
You can't. I don't care. Listen, there's no way you can skip this cutscene because you will regret it for the rest of the time you play this game. It's an unskippable. And it's not in the middle of a duty, so you have no excuse. I don't care if you don't care about the story. Watch it. Never skip it. Watch everything. Watch all the cutscenes. Even Castrum, even if they yell at you. I'm gonna get in trouble for that.
Yeah, you're gonna get in trouble for that one.
All right.
Don't go that serious. Don't watch Castrum, please.
Sly's like, please don't. Please don't. I want to get through my trial roulette, please. I mean, my main story roulette, please. Okay, let's move on from the main story because that wasn't all the patch was about. As much as I would love to talk about it for the entire show, we had a bunch of little things added. Some people seem to think this was supposed to be like a huge patch in terms of content. It wasn't. The story was really the center of it. One thing we got, though, was more post-Moogle quests.
Hooray.
Something me and you don't do.
Hooray.
Hooray.
But now there are people who actually do it. Like, yeah. I've learned. There are people who actually do the delivery Moogle quests.
I've learned.
Like, I've just learned today. I'm like, wait, you do delivery Moogle quests? Like, people in my chat were talking about him. Okay, more power to you. More power to you.
Listen, you get a reward for it now, though.
What?
You get a post-Moogle cap. Level 1 vanity.
AKA the, as it's been called in my chat, the JoJo cap.
JoJo cap. Please, explain.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
I have a feeling I'm about to get yelled at for not knowing what that is.
Wow. That's too happy. Come on.
Well, the first one was sports, okay? I don't do sports. I also was too busy playing Final Fantasy XI as a kid, okay? I didn't have time for TV, all right? I watched YouTube and played Final Fantasy XI. That's all it is. That's all that matters. And I also don't watch anime. So that doesn't help. Don't slide. That's not 3. That doesn't count, okay?
I'm not going to count.
That doesn't count. That's not fair.
That's fine. A lot of people don't watch anime. I give you that. But
Thank you, Sly. Thank you for understanding me as a person.
I understand now.
He understands.
See?
You got to talk up a little, Sly. It sounds like you're a little hushed right now when it comes to this topic.
Two. I'm just saying it's two in one episode.
Sly, all right, I'm moving on, Sly, because you're giving me a hard time here.
Move on. Delivery Moogle Quest. Just few new Delivery Moogle Quest. If you do them, fine. If you don't, I don't. Happy doesn't.
I might do it for the cap. I don't know about the JoJo thing, but I mean, I still might do it. It's got a reward at the end. I did sightseeing logs, okay? Like, I can manage the Moogle quests. I want you to put that in perspective. I did the sightseeing logs and said, no, I don't want to do the Moogle quests.
Sightseeing logs are better, though.
What? What? All right, Sly, come on.
There's a little bit of mystery in the sightseeing logs. It's like it actually.
The only mystery is why am I still standing here after 8 hours? Because the rain never came. That's the only Sly. Have you done all 80 of them?
I have not done all 80 of them. I know some of the requirements, quote unquote, for each one are really crazy. That's all I know, and you kind of have to base it off of the clue it gives you. Delivery Moogle, you just go here, do this.
But it's story, Sly. We just got finished talking about all the story. With
it's
the
story that's not a part of the story. It's Hildebrand is story. That's better story. Great. It's great. It's better than Delivery Moogle story.
Well, I mean, we haven't done it, so can we honestly say that?
I've done it.
Maybe the post Moogle's way better.
I've done a few, and I didn't like it.
Some people have done a few Hildebrand quests. They don't like it. They never gave it the full chance.
True.
Sly, I love it when we're not able to agree on these topics.
No, I love it. Heated debates.
Like one day, there's gonna be I'm gonna be sitting on that couch next to you, and you're just gonna start strangling me. I can see it already. You don't know JoJo. You don't know JoJo. Don't hurt me, Sly. Anyway, let's move on so I can find a third thing to piss Sly off with. Okay. New NPC opponents for Triple Triad have been added. There's a bunch of changes to Triple Triad, Chocobo Racing, the Manderville Gold Saucer in general got a whole bunch of balance changes. Some new NPCs opened, the deck used by certain NPC was changed, the rules for certain NPCs were changed, and the Triple Triad tournaments have been adjusted. Sly, it seems like you've actually challenged some of the NPCs since the change, so why don't you talk about it? Because I haven't.
Only a few. Well, really only one because earlier. Because we were just waiting on Steps of Faith. I decided, hey, I want to test this whole not new, but reduced difficulty NPC. So why not check out Rowena? I mean, everybody was bitching about how Rowena was so difficult because her random wasn't really a random. So I go to Rowena. First one I get is Reverse and Descension. Win the first time, get a Geralt card. So obviously there is some change. There is some change, ladies and gentlemen. So go out into the world, challenge NPCs because it's a little bit easier to kind of build your deck now.
Nice. And also, a card that was exclusively available via the tournaments is now available in the game.
Yay,
Lightning. Lightning's available. So after you finish 2.55's main story, Tataru becomes a challengeable target, even though she doesn't have the marker above her head. And you can get the lightning card from her, apparently. So, win traders, I guess, didn't win all that much at all because now we can win it a lot easier. Or at least what seems like it's a lot easier.
I hate to say that they went through a bunch of effort because
they win trade.
Yeah, they win traded, but really win trading is no effort from their standpoint.
You have to plan it out, and you have to get it all in place. Yeah. You got to make sure the people who did it fair don't win. I mean,
right.
And to top it all off, they actually changed Triple Triad tournaments a little bit, but they're not really the changes everyone was hoping for. So the number of matches in the Triple Triad tournaments have been adjusted. I think this week's is 35 matches.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. That's enough to get the Shantoto card in a single week. If you win 30 games and you've never won one before, that's enough to get Shantoto. The number of points received for winning a match has been adjusted. So apparently winning matches has changed to such a degree where if you win all of them fairly, you will beat the people who are win trading. It's like now much more noticeable. Mm-hmm. But win trading is still very effective, apparently, to get into the top 20.
Right.
And for the Shantoto card and whatnot. Like, they didn't eliminate the win trading. I haven't done the Triple Triad tournament since the first week. Have you done them at all?
once, and I didn't place. I didn't even come on the board. Yeah,
The first week, I'm assuming, like May, because I didn't want to do it last time because
it was the second. It was the second week. It was the week after
Okay.
the first week, and I didn't even place at all.
Not bad. But now what the thing that'll happen is even if you don't place in the top 20, you receive bonus MGP based on the number of points you've earned. We got to wait for this tournament to end before we know exactly what that is. But there's a chance that could be a fair amount of MGP, especially with 35 matches to play this week. Even if you were to get, 3,500 points, let's say, what if the conversion rate's like 5-1 or something like that? Or I don't think it will be, but what if it was? Like, this is potential.
It's potential, but
Sly, are you going to do it just to see how much points you get, or are you going to hold off on this tournament?
I'll actually do it. Just to see.
Just to see.
Just to see. I mean, I'm not really gonna put my heart into it, like most people do.
Sly, but you've got to be the king of games.
No, don't do it.
That's not 3.
No,
not,
don't. That's not 3, but just don't. You get on me about my jokes. Don't do that one. Don't do it. You get. That's my warning. Don't.
Listen,
do it.
You didn't make the bad joke earlier, so I had to do it.
I did. Well, you said I made a bad joke.
But no, I'm not the only one who said that. Sly, come on now.
People in chat said it, but it had to come up eventually. I didn't say it at first. It came up in my chat. I brought it from my chat to you.
None of these things ever need to happen. we just love torturing each other.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. And another thing that changed in the tournament is you get a platinum triad card now when you win. I'm guessing that's there's 8 different cards it can be. I'm assuming they're cards like, Tidus, Lightning. I'm assuming they're all 5-star
5-star cards. Yeah, that's what I assumed as well.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that more of the tournament-specific cards are going to be showing up in the on NPCs in the coming time.
Right.
But that's it for Triple Triad. Now let's talk about something that's really up your alley. Sly, let's talk about the choke.
I'm excited. I'm just saying. Shut up. Don't judge me. Don't judge
All right.
me.
I'm not judging. I'm just staring at you oddly. All right. No, that's not judging. Anyway, Chocobo Racing has seen a bunch of adjustments, both to the MGP rewards and the balancing of the actual races. So the biggest thing is the MGP rewards have been adjusted. So 1st to 7th place now get a lot more. 8th place doesn't get as much as they used to, and this is to discourage people from joining a race and just AFKing.
It's not really this, but I wouldn't call that discouraging because some people actually try and still get crapped on and still get 8th place, so it's not really discouraging.
But it's not like, but it specifically says to discourage players from purposely finishing in last place.
So it's discouraging you to go make a sandwich, basically.
No, it's discouraging. Sly, come on now. It's discouraging because that was way people were farming MGP in levels. They would join a race, AFK, and do something else, and when the race was done, they queue up again. So they didn't have to participate, but they were still benefiting.
I mean, they were benefiting, but not much. I mean, but it's still kind of like, even in that time, it was kind of even to what everybody else was getting in terms of MGP, so I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it was very close.
Yeah.
And for those of you wondering, Sly, what pedigree chocobo do you have?
Right now I have a 2.
What rating is it? Do you know?
I do not know.
What rank is it approximately? Are you checking right now?
I am.
He's checking right now, guys.
Okay, so it's a rank 20 and it's a 39 rating.
Rating? Okay. So when you get to around 100 rating, I've seen reports of MGP rewards and EXP rewards being in like the 3 or 400 range for like 1st, 2nd, 3rd area. Wow. It used to be like 140 or 150. It literally was half that, I think, before.
Right.
It's an insane increase if you're somebody who has already invested a lot of time into chocobo racing. So how much more time are you going to be investing in it now, Sly?
Well, pretty much the same amount of time because we already know that I'm in chocobo racing. Like, that's my thing when I go to Golden Saucer. I mean, I might do a little bit of Triple Triad here or there, but when I go to Golden Saucer, I organize chocobo races. It's a part of my night.
Do you feel bad if you organize a group of 8 and you have one person who loses constantly now?
No, because they actually, like, I really don't experience that anymore because people actually pick it up and, chocobo races, I mean, usually the people with, leveled chocobos and have been doing it for a while, usually they finish like consistently the same place they do. But you just have that one or few times where everybody screws everybody over, and you know that little pedigree one who just got into chocobo racing actually finishes first. So, like, there are a few times that it happens. It happens.
I'm seeing in the chat right now, 265 MG What did I just say? 265 MGP for first place in a rank 120 race, in a rating 120 race, excuse me. And I think it's something around like 400 experience. It's a lot of experience. It's a whole lot of experience now for those first place wins. It's insane how much you get now.
All right.
So I'm happy for that. They increased the size of the treasure coffers that we were all like, how did I pass through that and not pick it up?
Yes.
That shouldn't happen to you anymore. I think it can still happen, but it's far less common. Like, you, at this point, if you missed it, you could kind of understand, like, all right, I was way off to the side and I was trying to get it at the last second.
Or you could just intentionally miss it, because that is a strategy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so happy for this, because not a night goes by where I'm chocobo racing and I pass through knowing that I'm actually touching the chest and I get nothing.
And it's funny because I had to explain to you why that happened. It doesn't make it any better.
The lanes,
man. The lanes.
We're not in the right lane. I'm in the right lane. Damn it! I'm touching it.
Okay, Sly. Before I upset you too much. So a bunch of other changes: balances to the tracks, balances to items. The frequency of which blue treasure coffers has been adjusted. I noticed a few were in different spots or were missing, even in the open races. The frequency of which certain race items appear. This is, without a doubt, directly referencing Briar Thorns. They didn't get nerfed. They didn't get buffed, I hope. I hope they never get buffed.
Let's hope.
That would be horrible. But they're now far less common. And Hero Tonics seem to be a lot more common, which is odd, because Hero Tonic is one of the best items.
Right.
It makes you, immune to all effects, and you can't be lathered, I think, for the duration.
Right. So it kind of evens the score, with lower level chocobos and lower level racers.
Yeah, and the stamina tablets are a lot less common now. They are very infrequent, unfortunately, because those won me quite a few races.
Yeah.
You love getting the person next to you with the Briar Thorns, and you have the tablet, and you're like, oh,
yeah, go ahead. I just say, go ahead, do it. Do you know what I have? Do it. Please.
It's funny when you you see the person next to you, pick it up, and you're like, I know you have it. Maybe he doesn't know how to use it. Oh, he used it. I'm going to wait 15 seconds. Oh, man. Speed boosts are a little bit more common. Yeah, it's just so many different changes. The only items that actually saw changes into their effects were the Slow, the Graviball, which had its duration doubled, and Bacchus's Water, which the frenzy it causes now causes stamina to decrease even faster. It's like a stamina a second.
Right. So it's almost a replacement for those for less caltrops. It's almost a replacement.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just that it doesn't. You can't wipe out 7 other people at once, so that you can just wipe out one. Yeah. Also, they made it so that the obstacles for rank 40, 60, and 80 races were relocated. I keep saying rank. It's rating. The period before stamina consumption begins when accelerating has been shortened by 1 second, so your stamina depletes even faster now if you just sprint the whole time or when you start sprinting right at the start of the race. The effects of foul weather have been reduced, and the effects of foul weather on chocobos that specialize in it has been adjusted. I've never even been able to notice the difference with the weather bonuses, so I don't know how that affects me.
I don't know either, and I have a foul weather chocobo, and every time it rains, I'm like, it's not really doing any better.
It's hard to tell.
I just don't notice it either.
It's just really hard to tell. On top of that, almost all of the abilities and passives were buffed. In fact, no, I don't take them back. They all were buffed massively. For example, Choco Cure used to just give you 3% of your stamina back, doubled, 6%. Chocobo Ease, which cures the heavy status and gives you stamina. Choco Ease 3 was 150. It's now 180 at rank 3. Some of these are crazy to the rate that they were buffed. Some of them were doubled. This one, increased stamina is a passive trait. I got to admit, the first rank is garbage. Reduces stamina depletion during acceleration by 1%. That was the old effect. It's now 9%. And as far as I'm concerned, that just makes it not laughable. That's the only thing I've noticed. Like, they're just buffs across the board. We could spend practically the entire video just going over the buffs and the changes and how it affects the races. You got to experience it for yourself.
Right.
And Slyh is the man to do it with. He will take you on an adventure through one of 3 tracks over and over again.
Over and over again. And we love it. It's cutthroat. It's cutthroat.
It's very cutthroat. Mario Kart ain't got nothing on this.
Nope.
All right. That's a little bit much. But anyway, then some changes to the rest of the MGP that comes from Gold Saucer. So Thorn Dynasty Gate, the one vase off where you have to carry the vases, you can now never get only 1 vase as an option. It'll always be 2 or 3. So that's like a nerf, but it's not a huge one.
Right.
Lighting for the main stage when participating in the Time of My Life, which is the one where it's the Simon Says one with the dancing. I haven't actually done it yet, but I'm assuming it just makes the NPCs easier to find with the lighting.
Well, really, it doesn't make any difference to me because I always saw an NPC. There's always NPCs around the ring. There are NPCs in the center in that little, I guess, stage, that elevated stage. And then there are NPCs around the stage that you can watch because I always thought that the NPCs in the center were hard to find, like hard to see, like in terms of the smaller emotes that they do. Now, there are NPCs around the stage, like there's one right behind you probably, and you could just follow him or her. So this one really doesn't make a difference.
I never liked the NPCs that are on the stage. Even though I'm a Lalafell, I use the NPCs at the top because there's not a million people gathered around them so I can actually see what's going on.
Right.
So I haven't done it yet, but I want to do it. MGP awarded for the following gates has been increased: Vase Off and Cliffhanger. Cliffhanger was always surprised me. It's worth like 140, and it's parkour, man. It's hardcore parkour.
It is.
It's what the sightseeing log should have been. Actual jump puzzles, not go stand here for 8 hours. Sightseeing logs I'll never escape. Those are going to come up way more than they need to. MGP awarded for mini games. It's like doubled. It's like, so the one that's right outside Chocobo Racing, the Punch one with Gilgamesh, if you get the highest score, it's 10 instead of 5 now.
Ooh.
I haven't tried Yeah, but I mean, you could do that like
over and over again.
15 times a minute.
How much is it in terms of MGP? How much is it to play?
1.
1? Okay.
1.
So
it's got pretty high MGP per minute. Probably not as much as some of the Triple Triad NPCs if you're going to win fast enough, but
right.
If you're willing to do 100,000 of those with perfect, actually more than that, around 100,000 of them with perfect accuracy, you got yourself a Fenrir mount, friend. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
Don't do that. No.
They added an NPC that sells various items at the entrance square. Haven't even checked out that NPC to see what he sells. Maybe someone in the chat can tell me. And an independent arms vendor was added at entrance square. The #1 most requested thing for people who want to just AFK and Gold Saucer, come back and do a duty. You now have your repair NPC in the Gold Saucer.
No, I guess that's good because some people do actually live in Gold Saucer. They don't go anywhere else. So
that is their Mordona.
Yeah, it's the Mordona now. Mordona is kind of
just sells food and drink. All right, so Greg just sells food and drink according to our chat. All right, so then the next part of the patch notes mentions the steps of faith. We already talked about that in great detail.
Yes,
so
we did.
Skip over that. This next one seemed out of nowhere. Strength of the Echo and Second Coil was increased again. It's been like 4 months since the last time they did that. Obviously, they want even more people making it into Final Coil at this point. Because 20% Echo, that's a lot. That's 20% more health, damage, and healing.
Those phase pushes, man.
Listen, turn 7 used to be a disaster. Please, turn
6.
Turn 6. Well, I mean, turn 6, they kind of fixed most of those problems. Like, the bees don't spawn anymore.
Yeah, they don't. That's true.
Yeah, but you'll be all right, Slyh. You'll be all right. Come on. Come on, Slyh.
I don't worry about turns. I mean, again, turn 6 is pretty much a burn strat to begin with now.
And now you can burn it 5% faster, I think.
Yeah.
Now, the big thing was that the Final Coil was added to the Duty Finder. Now, it hasn't really been entirely added. So, in case you're wondering, weekly restriction on entering, gone. You can enter every turn as much as you want. There was never a loot restriction on Final Coil, so that doesn't need to be abolished. Players may now go to any turn. You don't need to beat 10 to get to 11, 11 to get to 12, etc. You could just, as soon as you beat 9, go straight to 13 if you wanted.
And we've already talked about how I thought that's stupid. And I'm not even on final coil yet, and I think it's stupid.
Because at that point, it's like you didn't go through the process of learning the fights and sort of improving yourself. You just kind of tried to jump a hurdle. Right,
and that's not meant to sound elitist. That's just my point. It's all about progression in anything. Even if this was like it is now for a second coil, I still went through in order. Not because that's just the way it is or the way it was, but just to kind of advance and improve my raid kind of strategy. Not really strategy, I guess, but my raid mentality. Quote unquote.
I understand what you're saying. You want to earn the victory in each turn subsequently to prove you're ready for the next one. That's the mentality. That's not a bad mentality to have. That's not. There's a lot of people who are still upset that there even is Echo, or that this is even entering the Duty Finder, and that there may be potential nerfs to the mechanics itself. There are people who haven't beat it who don't want that to change because they want to preserve it the way it was and earn it the way that it was originally intended to be done. And I think that's a perfectly fair way to do it. Especially because this isn't mandatory for Heaven's Word. You have to want to do this to get it done. So I think it's a fair assessment, the one that you have.
Now, is it mandatory for Alexander?
No.
Really?
It's not. You don't need to beat Final Coil to get to Alexander. So it's literally just, I heard that. You got to tell? Is it a gill seller? Be honest with me.
Yes.
It's a gill seller. I knew it. It's only ever gill sellers. Are you kidding me?
Only ever gill sellers. Nobody wants to send me.
Handiwork guaranteed, man. I trust them. All right. So, like I said, it hasn't fully entered the Duty Finder yet because you can only enter with a full party, but in 2 weeks you'll be able to enter solo. So it sucks for now for anyone who wanted to solo queue in, but in 2 weeks the real nightmare begins. And the Echo gets added. Now, the one thing people were concerned about is, are they going to nerf the turns? Well, they did already. They nerfed the trash. They reduced the HP and damage dealt in the trash for both turn 10 and specifically for the Valiant trash in turn 11. I guess because now that you have to clear it every single time you want to do it, they're like, let's just make it a little quicker. It's trash. No one cares.
Yeah, we just want to get to, the main part of the raid.
At that point, why don't you just take it out, man? Just let us go straight to the boss. What does this all need to be here for? If you're going to nerf it to oblivion, like, come on now. I don't think it's been nerfed to oblivion, but still. It's weird. I did not expect them to nerf trash in turn 10 and 11. I think they will nerf 10 and 11 themselves in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to see what they'll do, though, because that's going to be very, very interesting. Okay. Also, some advice from the chat. Mute your tell chime when you're in the middle of that cutscene later. Also, if you get friend request notifications, turn them off. Because guess what happened to me during my cutscene? In the middle of it, like, no, I don't want to be your friend right now. All right.
And now you're giving people the idea. Now I'm probably gonna get that.
Do it. See, now I'm telling you, Sly, you got to do it.
Thank you.
Hell, I'll log on and find a way to get the behemoth to do it to you.
Oh, of course you will.
Yes, of course I will. So, talking about lockouts, there's been some other changes to the Final Coil. Soul Attunement and Soul Resonance granted by them has been adjusted. Players will only appear in the areas following completion in turn Final Coil of Bahamut turn 3 and 4. When you clear those, they take you to a special location. That'll only happen the first time. Every other time, it'll just drop you off where you were in the Duty Finder. Perfect, right? Another thing that's perfect is the World of Darkness changes.
Weekly limitation.
Weekly limitation was removed. Have you been... Other than your weekly quest, do you really even do World of Darkness anymore?
No. I just do it for my weekly, and that's it. I mean, if there's someone in that needs help with it, I'll go, but that's it. I'm not really trying to get anything out of it but a Puff of Darkness, which I still haven't gotten.
What about an Onion Knight card?
Still haven't gotten that either.
Good, because if you said you got it, I was angry.
Someone I ran with did. I didn't get it. Thanks, Dodge.
Actually, I did get it on my alt.
Ah, not your main.
Thanks! I figured that out already, Sly. I figured out that my alt isn't my main. Maybe now that he has an Onion Knight, he should become my main. Anyway.
Nope. Yeah, this is what happens when you make 18,000 alts.
But I'm gonna win the jumbo cack pot one day.
I know.
It's gonna happen. This is the week. This is the week. I can feel it. I can feel it, Sly. So yeah, the weekly limitation for the gear inside World of Darkness was removed. There is the weekly quest you could still only do once though, for clearing all of Crystal Tower, the Labyrinth, Circus Tower, and WAD.
Gift of the Archmages.
Yeah, Gift of the Archmages. But they added the encrypted tombstone from turn 11 into it now. Yes. So if anyone here isn't doing their relic, you don't want to do it, you don't care, you hate it, it's grindy, whatever.
This is your choice.
This is your choice. 1300 Poetics, encrypted tombstone, carbon twine, 130 weapon. Did you save up a carbon twine from last week?
No, I did not.
What'd you get last week? Or did you use it?
I already used it.
So just a 120 weapon for you this week?
Yeah.
It's all right, Sly.
It's all right.
It's a good weapon.
I could take a 120 weapon over a Liberator. It's better again. So
it is better.
I'll take
Good.
it.
I'm glad. Enjoy it. Should get a Longinus. Just get the Longinus, Sly. You know you want to. Nope. Absolutely no chance.
I might buckle down and...
No, you won't. Don't lie to me.
I might buckle down and start to do my books because some people are doing their books now too. So maybe we can get together and do books, people.
Don't lie to me. You're never going to get together with people and do books because you don't want to sit there for an hour. Actually, that's not true. If you're a DPS, you want to be with people for your books for those dungeon queues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. There you go. So, other than that, most of the remaining changes were among certain items, like all of the chocobo items that are involved with the covering process or the breeding process, all had their prices slashed. The water that lets you forget your chocobo price had its... Have you used that item before? I mean, you only have a pedigree 2. I can't imagine you've hated your chocobo enough to get rid of an ability.
On my first one, I did.
Really? What ability did you have that you got rid of?
It was a passive ability. What was it? It was the speed recovery.
Speed recovery 1?
Mm-hmm.
Now I can see why. Well, speed recovery 1 is pretty good now.
It's good now, but it wasn't then.
Wasn't good at all back then. None of them were good back then.
It meant nothing. That's why I wanted to get rid of it as soon as possible. And then when I kept getting new abilities, they were all passive abilities. Sometimes I would get speed recovery again.
Maybe that's just the kind of chocobo you got, Sly.
Maybe.
They also made it so that if you craft grade 1 feeds, as opposed to buying them from the NPC, you get 3 instead of 1 now. So that's pretty good. It's an actual incentive to not just buy it from the NPC. You can, or just to make it yourself for profit or whatever not. There's certain normal quality items can be traded for field craft demi-materials now, so those prices tanked. Absolutely tanked. Like, they were already down. Now they're gone. Because you can literally just make, like, rich tomato relish or reinforced dark steel wire and hand in normal quality versions, so not even the hard versions to make for Fieldcraft Demi Materia 3. Which I guess helps because you need it for some of the gear, don't you? You need it for some of the crafted gear. Neither you or I craft, do we?
I'm gatherer, so no.
But you could still use those then. I mean, you can't craft any of the items to make it.
Right.
Damn it, Sly. Why are we so lame?
I know.
We're so lame.
One day we're gonna craft. One day I'm gonna be a culinarian.
One day we're gonna have Chef Sly on the show.
Yes.
He's gonna make us a pizza. I don't know. I just needed a food I'm hungry. Anyway, you can also get cordials for antumbral rocks and redolent logs. Normal quality versions of those, good because I have a few lying around. You can store more items in your armoire. There's some new seasonal items from the old seasons that you can put on the market board now. And they added the post-Moogle cap to the Calamity Salvager NPC. Just a bunch of little things. I don't think we really need to stop and talk about those, do we?
None.
Nah, not really. I mean, the armoire is a pretty big deal because they take forever to get these items into the armoire.
Yeah.
Do you have any items that you have to store away now? I don't even think I bought these items because I was afraid of...
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Yeah.
We got Hatching Tide soon, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. What else do we got here? Position of the close button on the Jumbo Cacpot ticket window has been adjusted.
Small stuff.
Now, this was weird. In preparation for the upcoming expansion, the player matching algorithms for the Duty Finder have been adjusted. I kind of wish they'd have given us more details on that.
Like how? Yeah, wondering how. Because does this improve I guess queue times maybe?
For DPS is the only people who could really have an improvement from it.
Right.
I'm almost guessing that it like guarantees one ranged, one melee in terms of party composition. Because I'm guessing like you're just far less often to get double barred or something like that now. Maybe it tries to pair together like dragoons and bards for the synergy. I don't know. I've gotten so many dragoons in the past few days from everything. I was like, is this planned? Is this just all the dragoons everywhere?
Why is that a problem?
I want some diversity.
Why is that a problem?
I want diversity, man. I don't want to do turn 4 with 3 dragoons and a bard. I want a black mage in there. One. I'm just asking for one. I like black mages, okay? I don't have to sing Payon for black mages. I just have to sing foes. Some new achievements were added. Some categories for chocobo names were adjusted. Another big one, the music while riding the Magitech armor and Gilded Magitech armor. You look really happy about this.
Yes. Terra's theme.
It's Terra's theme from Final Fantasy VI now.
Oh, God. It hit me right in nostalgia. Like, I'm starting to use my Magitech armor now more than my chocobo.
Everyone's starting to use it now.
I see it. It's ridiculous how many Magitech armors I see everywhere I go. Like, it made my day. That made my day.
Yeah, it was definitely a really nice change. It also says just straight out new music has been added. I don't know what, because like there's
where?
a new, yeah. Is it in the new fight? Is it in the end cutscenes? Like, is that, you didn't need to tell me that if you weren't going to tell me where it was added, unless that is them adding the new music for the Magitech mount. That's the only thing I could really imagine.
They might be talking about the Steps of Faith. I'm not sure. Yeah, they should have been a little bit more concrete and.
Sometimes being abstract is not a good thing, Square Enix. I'm just letting you know. Sometimes it's not a good thing. All right, and that's pretty much it for the entirety of the patch notes. In case anybody was wondering.
Yeah, there are a few more. There are a few more aesthetics issues that were addressed, but again, those are just aesthetics.
Yeah, like we're not gonna go through those. It's not worth taking the effort to go.
No.
So, what do you say we turn to Twitter for a few questions, Sly?
Let's turn to Twitter.
Turn to Twitter. All right, we got a few questions here. First comes from Landar, says, at DreamNetTV, #SOTR. After this last trial, I wonder if Square Enix will finally give Paladins an efficient way to pick up ads on the move. Isn't Flash pretty good for that? Like, it's Overpower has the cone, and Steel Cyclone, as great as it is, you can't spam it. I thought they were pretty good at picking them up on the only problem is Flash doesn't really update its position often enough, I guess. So you think you're in range. You think you're in range of an enemy, but you're not. What do you think? Do Paladins need more AoE? Like, do they really need it? What do you want?
What do I want?
What do you want? Not what do you think will happen, what do you want? Make it possible. Okay. Don't be like, I want Paladins to just radiate a massive AoE aura at all times.
That would be, yeah. Again, it has to be possible. Damn it! Don't put those ideas in my head, Mike.
I'm just giving you an idea of what you shouldn't say.
A larger AoE cone, not cone, but area. I guess you could say.
Just a bigger area for Flash.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my water went down the wrong pipe.
I mean, not like you said, where it takes up the entire arena where you're at in like any fight or trash area, but
okay,
a sizable one.
Fair enough. Okay, I don't think it's needed. I think Flash is is an okay tool for picking it up. I think that it kind of suffers just from if an enemy is running sort of in front of you and away from you, odds are you won't hit it with it. I think that for that reason, your suggestion is a pretty good idea. Another question came in from sorry if I mispronounced this, McCall. Will the dev team redo or nerf Steps of Faith? Right now, it feels like when the boss Garelon was released to the Looking for Raid.
I don't think it'll be.
Warcraft. Sly?
Oh,
I
think your audio cut in a little bit.
Yeah, I think it did a little bit. Sorry for that, guys. I think Skype is saying that it wants us to have.
Say it one more time.
Will the dev team redo or nerf the Steps of Faith? Right now, it feels like the boss Garelon released to the Looking for Raid in World of Warcraft. I don't know anything about that boss, but do you think they'll nerf Steps of Faith?
Not anytime soon. And again, I don't think the devs really nerf trials. Well, they did kind of.
Well, I mean, we haven't had many trials really, other than the Chrysalis. Like we've had trials, but they've been like hard mode primals, and those really never saw change. Like the extreme primals, maybe some of them have seen small changes, but they haven't ever really like completely reworked a primal because people complained it was too hard.
Yeah, I mean, and again, this is just the first day, people. It's just the first day you're learning it. You'll get used to it. I really don't see a need for it to be nerfed.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's fitting for the final mission, for the final fight in the storyline, that it should at least pose some sort of threat or difficulty to you. I think it makes it feel better when you're doing it. It might be frustrating to have 7 people that are just, no matter what you say or try to do, are messing it up, even if it is the first day. You know, that can be frustrating when you know what to do and you're trying to convey that idea to people and they don't listen. That can be frustrating.
Now, going the opposite of that, I think there should eventually one day another patch, maybe in 3.0, be a hard mode with a different dragon, maybe.
No, dude, hard mode, can't stun him. He sprints. There you go.
He sprints.
He sprints.
So it's like, it's just not step. It's just
so many people are like, why does he just walk? And I think I found an answer to why he just walks. Because the wards are on the ground. It still doesn't make sense as to why he walks very slowly up to them. But it's why he's not flying into, the area. Let's move on. Next question. New player coming from Final Fantasy XI. Any tips to help adjust, level, or prep for endgame? So I actually appreciate that someone from Final Fantasy XI wants to kind of understand the difference between the games and see, how do I approach this game differently than Final Fantasy XI? I appreciate you, Jason, that's the person who asked the question, for kind of taking that effort. So, any tips? I mean,
Happy, you would be the better one, because this is coming from a person who came from 11. I never played 11, so I don't know the aesthetics or the playstyle. I've seen video, but I don't know it. So where is it that 11 and 14 differ? And
in a lot of places. Here's the thing. People look at old school 11 like, holy moly, that took forever. You'd have to join a party. You'd have to find a spot to camp out. You'd have to kill mobs as quick as possible to get experience points, chain them together for bonus experience. And while those mechanics are in A Realm Reborn, they're never really utilized. You mostly go through quests, open world quests known as fates. You have leave quests. You have the challenge log. You have your dungeons. You have your duty roulettes. There's a lot more that offers experience points in this game than there was in the earlier days of 11, but now in 11 it takes like 6 hours to get from like 1 to 99. So I can't even really compare it to modern day. Do you have any additional tips though, just in general, like help adjust, level, and prep for endgame? Prep for endgame. If you had to tell one person new to the game, what should I do when I hit 50?
There is a guide for that, and I had people to guide me.
There's a Reddit post.
The Reddit post is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because
one piece of advice you would give.
One piece of advice I give, because I had somebody just reach 50 the other day. It's kind of sensory overload, though. There's a lot of shit to do.
That's why it's a common question, because you hit 50 and all of a sudden you have people talking about they're doing World of Darkness and Crystal Tower and their weekly quests. You got people shouting for extreme primals. You got people doing the storylines. You got people doing the Hildebrand quest, the post-Moogle quest, maybe.
There's so many things. There's so many things you can do. You could go for. Well, you should go for your Zodiac weapon. Now, whether you take it past.
I wouldn't say Zodiac weapon.
It starts it off.
Your Zenith weapon, maybe.
Yeah, let's go. It's part of the Zodiac quest line. I'm calling it Zodiac. It's part of the quest line.
All right.
Let's call a spade a spade. It's part of the quest line. So go ahead and get it. It's not. Oh, well, fine. I'll appease Happy. Get your legendary weapon.
Your relic. He's a Final Fantasy XI player. That's actually a term that's used in 11. So that's actually a very easy to discern term.
Yeah, your relic weapon. Get your relic weapon because it's at first level, level 80?
Yeah, and then you can upgrade it to 90 really, really easily. So it's a nice starter weapon.
It's a nice starter weapon. Now, whether you choose to go down that path or just, go for Ironworks, it's up to you. But it helps in terms of your initial, start of post-50 quests and everything else. Take in the sights, smell the roses, do Hildebrand.
Yes.
Do some thing.
Now
Yes.
we can be friends again.
See, there's one thing I agree with you on. Yeah, do heal the brand. There's some other things you can do. Open up your dungeon. So like there are some dungeons that I think come post 50 that you I think have to go to them yourself and get. They're not part of the quest line. They're just dungeons that you can do. So definitely explore. In terms of I don't know, one thing in terms of leveling to get to 50, not just leveling for, raid content. One small piece of advice is don't, as much as you want to, don't lone wolf it. Don't lone wolf it at all. It's an MMO. People are here to help you. It may not seem like it sometimes, but people are here to help you. Join an FC. I think I kind of was late. I said to myself, maybe once I get to this level, I'll join. But come to find out, FCs have buffs. They can help you level faster. So, don't do it.
It's a lot of XP when you do it from 1 to 50. It adds up.
Yeah, it adds up. So don't try to do it. Don't try to lone wolf it. Make friends.
Make friends. It is an MMO, online, massive, multiplayer. And not utilizing those systems is definitely a hindrance. We'll answer one more question here from Twitter. Question for SOTR. Do you think we will get an in-depth history on the Owl Ra and Heavensward, past what we've gotten so far in, 2.2 and most recently in 2.5? What do you think, Sly? Think we'll actually learn the history of the Owl Ra? And more about Doma and their history and what they were like maybe before the Garleans came in, their actual origin? Why are they half dragons?
It might be the only race that has some kind of storyline aspect to it. I don't think it will. I mean, just to put that much thought into like an explanation of the race. I mean, we don't get explanations for Makote, Elizin.
They're there. If you look, they're there. But you really got to want to know.
Yeah, you got to want to know, and not a lot of people make that effort to know. So, I mean, I think it's going to be similar to that. You just make the effort to know. It's not going to be. It might be a little bit delved into the story. It might be a certain quest to kind of explain things, but I don't think it'll be anything past that.
I think it's a fair assessment. All right, well, that's the last Twitter question we're going to answer. So on that note, I think we can start the wrap-up of the show. So, Sly, as you know, we have a bit of an announcement to make here at the end of the show. Just give me 1 second, guys, to pull up a window. Sly, I love doing these shows every week. I wish we could do more than one show a week, but we would have nothing to talk about if we did that.
I know.
It sucks, man.
Maybe we should do another show.
What else are we gonna do a show about, Sly?
I don't know.
I know you want to do a spoiler cast of Type 0.
Hell yeah, but I want to finish. Like, I want to, but right now I would have to go through the story again in New Game Plus to even kind of hash that out because there's more shit.
There's differences, yeah.
There's differences, so yeah. We'll do it like in the near future. There's going to be a spoiler cast for Type 0. Once I finish the New Game Plus, and we can kind of geek out about the story. So again, it's a spoiler cast. Like, if anybody hasn't played it or watched stream of it or watched anything, it's a spoiler cast. Like, at least try the game.
You and Vidula can do it. Vid's in the chat right now. You both can do it together.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that's the person I have in mind for it, actually.
Yeah. You hear that, Vidula? Called out, bro. Can't play it, man. Stop. So anyway, big announcement that we got. Starting over. Big announcement that we wanted to do. I don't even know what I was trying to. We guys is what almost came out of my mouth. Big announcement we guys got.
that's the Jersey in you.
No, Jersey doesn't even get that bad. Trust me. So just so you know, in case you haven't figured it out by the giant word in the center of the screen right now, this show is brought to you by the Dream Network, and the Dream Network has its own forums. I've showed them off in previous episodes before, but we now have something that we're doing pretty interesting on the forums. I have it up on the screen right now. Let me blow it up so everybody can read it and understand it. Dream Network is pleased to announce our very first contest. We are looking to feature one or a few couple of talented artists with some snazzy new avatars for our Dream Network forum participants. This is the opportunity to showcase your talents and have those talents be appreciated by the Final Fantasy XIV community and beyond. If this sounds like something that interests you, please review the rules below. Max dimensions are 150 by 150, one avatar per rank. Here are the rank titles. You can make one for New Adventurer, Adventurer, Primal Slayer, Defender of Eorzea, Warrior of Light. You must submit 5 cards for consideration, and you can make more than one set. Please make sure your art is tasteful with no nudity or overly violent themes. As these forums have a positive theme, there is no limit to what you can make, and feel free to think outside the box. I love reading things straight. I always tell people never do this on PowerPoints. I'm literally just reading it out loud. So please post all entries on the forums, or alternatively mail them to roarsnacks@dreamnetwork.tv. All questions may be directed to roarsnacks@dreamnetwork.tv or posted right here. See the reply button? Reply button. Do it. All right, entries are due by Friday, the 1st of May, 2015. So, it is a contest, which means there is a prize. We will showcase the artwork of the grand prize winner and 2 runner-ups on State of the Realm. This is the show. It's right here, guys. This is where it'll be. Along with interview segments that will be linked on DreamNetwork.tv. The grand prize winner will receive Dream Network exclusive swag that is not available for sale, a special forum title, The Artist, and we will provide a link to your portfolio on the DreamNetwork.tv page, so interested parties may contact you for commission. So, in case you're wondering what the swag is, it's still to be determined, but one of the ideas floating around is a shirt, a specific shirt that, again, is not for sale. You'd be the only person, the grand prize, with that shirt, digitally signed by everybody on the Dream Network, which is a bunch of us. We have our Moogle Mama in the chat. We got Roz. We got Sly. We got Vidula. We got Pukajutsu, Fold. We got myself. We got Ms. Tech. Yes, that's right. We are on the same team, believe it or not.
You keep saying
because people don't believe it, Sly. People think we're enemies.
One day.
One day.
We're gonna get her on. We're
gonna get her on the show. Trust me, it's gonna happen. We got a lot of Dream Network friends that we want to bring onto the show as well. But I'm gonna post Ryusujin, thank you very much in the chat for posting the link to it. If you're an artist, come try, enter the contest. It's gonna be a lot of fun. You have a full month to enter, so plenty of time, no pressure, and you can get some of this unique swag. Gotta put the...
Where did we had swag?
Swag. That's all you gotta do. Swag. Alright, I said it like 8 times in a row.
8 times. Don't make it creepy.
It was creepy by the second time. Let's be real here for a second. But on that note, I think that covers everything we wanted to announce at the end of the show. Sly, is there anything you wanted to announce at the end of the show real quick?
No, I'm good.
Usual last words?
Usual plug, you can find me at twitch.tv/Slyakagreyfox, or, as it says below, down there, under this little window, Slythefox on Twitter, or Slyakagreyfox07 on Instagram.
Sly, are you streaming tonight? You were streaming.
Yes, I am.
You were streaming a lot today. I wasn't sure if you'd be streaming tonight.
Yeah, I am. I still have to get through the story. I got to get through that hour and a half of cutscene. I got to get my popcorn and beer and everything, so I'll be ready.
You heard it here. My co-host eats popcorn, drinks beer, watches cutscenes. Lots of spoilers, but if you guys haven't seen it, or if you don't play the game and you want to see how completely epic it is, I highly recommend you check out Sly's stream. He also streams a bunch of other stuff. He streamed Persona 4 Golden before, streamed Stream Type 0, where he got, his feels, like, his heartstrings really tugged for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
And hopefully everything goes well tonight, Sly. I always enjoy your stream.
I always enjoy doing this. This is
great.
This is the highlight of my week.
Is it?
Yes.
Sly, you're gonna make me blush.
Oh.
Sly, please. Don't say such things in public. Don't say them. All right, now that I've bugged you out enough, I think we're good to go. Thank you, Sly, co-host Slythefox, aka Sly, aka Greyfox, aka you're my boy, Blue.
You're my boy, Blue Happy. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming by the show, as per usual. And I'm your other host, who last week we already determined was the less important one, Michael Mr. Happy Polveromo. You can find me at Mr. Happy 1227 on Twitter, at Mr. Happy on Facebook, Mr. Happy, I'm 1227, can't forget that, on Twitch, and Xehanort1227 on YouTube. Rip names. But anyway,
childhood.
Oh, I love Kingdom Hearts. But anyway, thank you everybody for coming by the latest episode of State of the Realm. I hope to see you on the forums entering the contest. And we'll see you next week. Take care.
Next week.
Bye, everyone. Sly, say bye one more time.
Bye. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye.